Holy effing S.
He's here now. Ooh, look at that. Sexy. Kylo Juhani as a synergy suggestion. It's kind of weird. Dark side attacker, unaligned force user. That's weird. I thought they'd put him as Sith because, I mean, he worked for Vader. I guess that makes sense though, because then he kind of turns on Vader after. Well, because Vader turned on him, but I don't know. Well, let's see what they say about him. Hi, Holotable Heroes. The final unit of our Lucasfilm 50th anniversary characters is being unleashed. Starkiller is landing on the holotables with the force of a Star Destroyer being yanked from the sky. Below, we take a dive into the motivations and inspirations our developers drew while creating the kit for this fan-favorite Star Wars The Force Unleashed character. For more info and insights from the devs on this character, check out this interview with Cubs fan on. Cubs. I think I remember that interview. Cubs and Arnold, those are like the top two. I mean, there's also other guys. Zareth Prevails and Heinze and what's the one that has a username that sounds like something like working out, weights or curls or something. But Cubs and Arnold, those are like the top two guys. That's funny. That's not funny. That's cool for Cubs that they shouted him out like this. Check out this interview with Cubs. The basics. Dark side attacker, unaligned force user. A powerful dark side force user whose inner conflict lifts up other force users. Omicron abilities are used in Grand Arenas. The boost he gains in this game mode is expected to endow his squad with a power level similar to some galactic legends. Introduces the new status for effects Unleashed and Force Energy to Galaxy of Heroes. Unleashed, that makes sense because, you know, it's his game. Force Unleashed. Unique attributes. Starkiller is an unaligned Force user who works best alongside other Force users. An ideal squad for Starkiller contains both light side and dark side allies. Huh. An ideal squad is both light and dark? That's kind of weird. Huh. To wit, his kit... Is that on purpose? To wit? What is that supposed to mean? To wit, his kit looks for Force users and gets more powerful when his entire squad are different kinds of Force users. So what? Sith, Jedi, unaligned? Starkiller's size means nothing. Granted ability can only be used once per battle. Oh. I've seen an animation. I know what that is. So it's pretty sick, but I didn't realize it was only once per battle. That kind of sucks. I mean, you only need to use it once, though. But still. Also, it has a really epic animation. He works best under a Force-using leader who is not a galactic legend. Inspiration! Oh, there's really only one inspiration. It's the game. This unit represents Starkiller as seen in The Force Unleashed, not a clone of Galen Marek from the sequel. Not the clone of Galen Marek from the sequel. Is that what that was? He was a clone? See, I don't know much about Force Unleashed 2. I never played it, not because I didn't want to, it just never happened. And, you don't really hear too much about it, or at least I don't. So is that what it was? He was a clone? Huh. I was wondering how any of that existed. Like, because I thought... I don't know. Just... There was always a gap. Now it makes sense. Oh, he's a clone. Okay. There are many memorable attacks and animations Starkiller used in The Force Unleashed, so it was tough to pare down the list. But we feel we captured his most signature moves. We absolutely had to include his most famous ability, pulling a Star Destroyer down from the sky. Look for it in his granted ability, Size Means Nothing. Size Means Nothing refers to what Jedi Master Ram Koda tells Starkiller as he's trying to pull down a Star Destroyer using the Force. I thought I was going to say what Yoda says to Luke when they're training and he's trying to pull the X-Wing up. Because then, you know, oh, size matters not. Look at me. Or whatever he tells him. You know, look at me, I'm small, but I can do it. Starkiller in this form is very conflicted, trained in the dark side, and yet now tempted by the light. That's weird. I mean, I know that that's what his situation is, but I've never really thought about it until I read that right now. It's actually weird because it's backwards. Usually they're trained in the light and tempted by the dark. Look, Anakin, every character that's, fallen, they were light side and then went to dark side. Dooku, Revan, Bastilla. It's funny that it's the other way. They started dark and they're like, eh. We represent this conflicted state by having a lot of power gated behind a team made up of him and all 4 types of Force users in our game. Wait, what? 4 types of Force users? Sith, Jedi, unaligned Force user, and what? The heck is the 4th one? Strategy tips. Starkiller's best squad composition. Wait, see, there's only 3 here too. I don't know. Starkiller's best squad composition includes characters with various specific tags. Dark side and light side Force users and unaligned Force users as well. That's 3. What are they talking about? 4 types. Be sure to properly select and time Starkiller's abilities for the greatest benefit to his allies. Using his granted ability is obviously an exciting moment in the game. However, just because it's available doesn't mean the best strategy is to use it immediately. His Omicrons are powerful. They can apply undispellable debuffs, deal significant damage while dispelling enemy buffs, and grant his allies bonus effects. Starkiller's unique ability, There Is Much Conflict in You, activates when Starkiller is surrounded by the proper squad composition. Different enemies call for a different mix of allies for Starkiller, particularly in grand arenas. Starkiller doesn't prefer to be alongside a Galactic Legend ally. If there is one present on his squad, some of his abilities become inactive. Fact, who is Starkiller? If you don't know who Starkiller is, why are you even playing this game? You clearly don't care about Star Wars that much. The only way that would be okay is if you're like 10, because, Force Unleashed came out, like, way before you were born. Starkiller is from the game The Force Unleashed. He was Darth Vader's secret apprentice, and after being betrayed by the Dark Lord of the Sith, found himself fighting against the Empire. In those stories, he was instrumental in the founding of the Rebel Alliance. Does his unique work in 3v3. We have plans to implement a version of his ability There Is Much Conflict in You to work in 3v3 Grand Arenas before the next occurrence of 3v3 GAC is available. Why is he not a Sith? Okay, that's what I brought up, but I kind of explained it, so let's see what they actually say. Even though he was trained by a Sith Lord, Darth Vader, he has never been a proper Sith, and so he has the unaligned Force user tag. Okay, that's not what I went with. I went with how he was being trained under Vader, but then kind of broke away from it and did his own thing. Kind of like how Fulcrum, they give her unaligned Force user because she was a Jedi and then broke away. So I thought that would be the same thing with him. Apparently not. They just spitballing here. He was never properly a Sith, so how do I lock him? You need Dash Run, Darkal Katarn, Darth Talon, and Mara Jade, the Emperor's Hand. Stupid title. At Relic 5. This will allow you to play this event at any time as it is permanently open starting December 15th. Ooh, look at that. Lightning Hand. Destruction Unleashed. Increases Force energy throughout battle and rains down devastation from above. Starkiller. Pretty cool. Let's check out that sexy kit, though. It better be sexy.